Welcome to In the Room, where we explore the elusive world of casting for film, TV, and commercials. Join us as we interview directors, writers, producers, and actors, taking a deep dive into their experiences with casting and how the ultimate decisions are made in bringing a story to the screen. Get an inside look at casting and find out what really goes on in the room.
Thousands of years ago, early man gathered around the fire, developing the myths that define their culture. So we sit at the table, building heroes, and sing through them ourselves. Think your Xbox can do that?
I don't have an Xbox.
Good for you.
I play World of Warcraft, though.
It's Scott Wiedemeyer. We have an open seat starting Tuesday.
What kind of games do you guys host here?
As a matter of fact, we have an opening for a new player. Hey guys, this is Miles.
I brought a six-pack if anyone wants one. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Beer's cool.
Miles is pretty funny tonight, huh, Scott?
I am Ulrich Benevon, keeper of the Stones of Light.
I'm gonna throw my sword at his head.
That's not what you're supposed to do. Role-playing is about more than just being funny, you know. What's hard is to get people emotionally invested in the story. Nana, you promised you wouldn't disturb the game.
I'm just making myself a sandwich.
Well, it's disturbing.
No, you and your friends sitting in there pretending to be elves and fairies. That's what's disturbing.
Wake up, guys. You can't trust him. He's not your friend. He's my nemesis.
Huh.
You want a game? You want my game? I'll give you a game.
At the end of the day, it's a game.
Don't you think there's more to it than that?
The gods demand retribution.
Whoops.
Knock!
Sorry, I thought this was a bathroom.
Come with me now, and all is forgotten. And everyone gets 500 experience points.
Okay, well, here we are, another episode. This time, we are here with Katie Graham and Andrew Matthews. So I'm just going to read a little something about them. Katie Graham and Andrew Matthews are a filmmaking team whose feature directorial debut, Zero Charisma, won the Audience Award at South by Southwest 2013 and was distributed by Tribeca Films and The Nerdist. Previously, the couple served as director of photography and editor, respectively, of two award-winning feature documentaries, Best Worst Movie, South by Southwest 2009, and The American Scream, Fantastic Fest 2012. Since 2016, Katie and Andrew have created, produced, and directed over 100 episodes of two different ongoing web series for PBS Digital Studios, 2 Cents and Other Words, which have garnered them a regional Emmy, a Webby, and several Telly Awards. Oh, you guys are so big time.
Yeah, feels like it.
Their short documentary, Liberty Hill, premiered at South by Southwest in 2018, and their short apocalyptic comedy, Shucky Darn, premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2019.
I feel better about myself now.
Yeah, you
I was about to
should.
say, I was going to ask, how does that feel?
Yeah, you
That's
know.
great.
That's
Lift them all out.
Thanks.
This is one of my favorite parts, is pumping the guest up, you know? So today we're going to root it in their feature, Zero Charisma. So to tell you a little bit about that, Zero Charisma follows Scott Wiedemeyer, played by Sam Edson, a 20-something obsessed with his role as the game master of a fantasy tabletop role-playing game. He lives with his grandmother, he works at a donut shop, and he gets into arguments on a daily basis with those who don't see the world the way he does, or even worse, who don't know as much as him, which is everyone. The only part of life he seems to enjoy is when he's gaming with his small group of friends, who either like him or tolerate him because the game is just as important to them. When the group loses a member and is replaced by Miles, played by Garrett Graham, a hipster blogger whom Scott quickly identifies as a tourist in this world, things quickly start to go south. The group likes Miles better. He's cool, and his presence begins to usurp Scott's authority. At the same time, Scott's estranged mother has re-entered his life and is threatening to disrupt the
You do know
plans
they
he
watched
has
the
with his
trailer
grandmother.
right before this part.
I know, I'm filling them in. It's so good.
They
Come
just
on.
watched the trailer.
This is my moment. Let
Where-
me have it.
Where did this come
I
from?
know.
This
Okay,
description?
it's amazing, right? Not me. Okay. So, a party crash. Actually, I did write this part. A party crash, a declaration of nemesis, and a duel ensue. And then a hero comes along. Go Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the credits.
And then
Yeah.
all amazingness happens.
We couldn't
So-
afford that song, though, unfortunately.
Well,
No.
I just got it for you. So,
I mean, you should have at least said spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Sorry. All right. So let's talk about it. So, well, actually, first, let's just talk a little bit about the creative duo that is you. Where did each of you come from, and how did you two happen?
Well, we have actually been partners for 24 years. Yeah. We met in high school, but we didn't start dating until college.
Yes. We were in a media program at our high school across from Burbank Studios.
So you were in California.
We were in California. Yeah.
Both-
I grew up in Hollywood, California.
Yeah, and I was in North Hollywood. So, but we, both kids of like middle class industry people, and we came together through a love of sort of comedy, alternative comedy, and we had like a little. That was actually before we were dating. We had a cable access show.
Yeah,
in LA.
in high school we were in a media program together, and I would film stuff, and Andrew would be in them as an actor, and yeah, and then
And you guys, what were you? Because I took that same class, and it was like, for people that don't know, it was like old cameras,
Oh, yeah.
3/4 tapes.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
We were
Yep,
using two
yep.
VCRs to
Yeah.
edit stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
think there
really?
was, like,
Two
a-
VCRs? You didn't
Yeah.
even have like a, what was it called?
The year that we graduated, I think after that, they got an Avid.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But did you have the in and out machine?
Yeah.
Yes.
We literally had an editing program that had thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. 2 buttons.
2 buttons.
Yes or no.
Which is, I kind of like, actually, it's kind of like social media now, right? There's no
True.
thumbs down,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and then we were just making like weird little short videos and stuff, like early days of YouTube when it felt exciting to do that kind of thing. And then we had a shared love of this really bad movie from the 80s called Troll 2, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen.
Okay.
It's an amazingly bad movie. And so we made this fake trailer because that was just starting to get popular at the time, the fake trailers. Remember the Shining one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shining.
Yeah.
And we made this fake trailer, put it on YouTube, and it got discovered by like the YouTube MySpace Troll 2 fan club, and it kind of blew up a little bit. We had some Upright Citizens Brigade in New York said, "Hey, can we play this we're doing a screening of it?" We said sure, and then we got contacted.
MySpace was a website that.
Oh my God, do we have to explain?
a lot.
Fill in
Wow.
MySpace.
You can put some old timey music under this.
Yeah, and then we got contacted by the actor who played the child in that movie. And he said, "Hey, I'm making a documentary about the resurgence of the popularity of this film. I love your guys' short. Do you want to help me make like a sizzle reel or a teaser trailer?"
And we were like, hell yeah.
Yeah, we just want to meet you.
Yeah, we were like, I mean, growing up in LA, obviously you see celebrities from time to time, but meeting
You guys were all about the Troll too.
the actors
Yeah.
in Troll 2 was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like these people are, I mean, it's just like such a B movie that, you would never see these people in public. Like, just to see them, it felt like incredible. So,
Yeah.
And both of you guys went, cha-ching, we're going to be in.
I mean, we were like had a brunch with like a few members of the cast, and it was like, more exciting than if it was Julia Roberts and Brad Pitt.
No, for sure.
I get it.
We were like, holy shit. Yeah. So we worked on that for about 2 years. And once we finished that, it went to South by. It premiered at South by Southwest in 2009. And that was the first time we came to Austin. We're those people, unfortunately. And we came to Austin. We're like, this place is cool. So much cooler than LA.
Well, at the time, it was like we met other people in the Austin film community, and we're like, "Wait, you just like make movies and you don't have to be rich. Like,
Yeah.
you can work at a coffee shop and make movies in your spare time. I don't know if it's true anymore.
You got in at just the right time.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
it was
we-
like, oh, you don't need permits to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Not only that, you want the house? You can get the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally. Yeah.
So we came with the goal of like making a narrative feature here, and it took a few years to like get it.
Well,
all.
we ended up moving to Austin. Yes. We were
Yeah.
from that. Yeah. And then, yeah.
And then it took a few years to sort of get settled in, and I think we actually started the script for Zero Charisma while we were still in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Where did that idea come from?
well,
From the Troll 2 meeting?
no, that was actually, I think it was.
Well, Andrew's into D&D or was into D&D.
I've always played Dungeons
Let's
and
do
Dragons.
it.
You just
Fess,
outed him.
fess up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I married a nerd.
Andrew's a nerd.
Yeah. The character's, sort of based on myself and other dungeon masters that I've played with. And then also a little bit of like, back in the day, like YouTube was such a like wild and exciting place because it was just like the most bizarre people putting their lives out there for anyone to just like come in and watch.
You could discover the most we were like, this guy's such a kind of like, he was just such a like know-it-all nerd type, just such an archetype. It was very familiar, and you're like, oh God, that guy. He even wore fingerless glove. We were like, oh my God.
Wow.
And which the character in the movie Zero Charisma wears, Sam wears, and and we were super into the British Office. We loved.
Ooh, Darren and I were too.
We were like, it was like our Bible.
Same.
We were obsessed.
I couldn't even go into the American Office because it was such a holy place of
totally
comedy gold.
Mm-hmm. Which I hear it's very funny.
I hear that too.
But
That's what I was.
Just not what I'm looking for.
I hear it's funny.
Yeah, but I mean the cringe, the people don't like cringe, but cringe is, I live for it. I love it.
When it's done well, I'm like addicted to it. And The Office,
I can feel it in my stomach just talking about it. I'm just sitting there going,
Well, because life is cringe. You know what I mean? Like there's so many situations that are like that and that are humorous, but you can't really laugh at
especially
them
in
at
the
moment.
corporate world and those type of situations, like, yeah, they did this so good.
Or even here, I just sang Mariah Carey.
That was pretty
cringe.
It was.
Yeah.
So yeah, we kind of were like, what if we did kind of this, at the time mumblecore was popular. We're like, what if we just do this like, small movie that centers on not a cool leading man, like a very anti-hero, a movie that a character that people wouldn't want to see. Yeah. That was funny to us. And just watching him kind of put his foot in his mouth a lot and
just wear his insecurities on his sleeve.
Yeah, and it's great the way that you really owned that and sort of doubled down on him not being someone you want to see. Like you didn't try to like, cutesy it up in any way. And yet at some point still by the end, you're rooting for him. Like you want him to be okay. You want it to all go well. But the whole time before that, there's not really much that's redeeming about it. You're like,
that's
falling in
funny.
love
I
with
just
him.
put that together that at the end I was like happy for the dude. Like,
That's why. Isn't that interesting how that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and a lot of that is to Sam's performance as well.
Did you guys have a casting director on it?
No.
So, and you guys were just moved here, right?
Yeah. So we casted ourselves.
You literally picked like the best people, like to not know what's here. Like Sam is one of my favorite dudes. Katie, Ashley, like you picked the best of, like there are a lot of great people here, but you guys literally like nailed the casting.
Thank you. It was so much fun to cast that.
It was.
I had done my background was actually in theater originally. So when we first came here, I did a few shows, plays, and so I met some of the cast came from the theater world. And then everybody else, we just had auditions, except for Sam. Sam was, we were going to make a teaser trailer to raise money with. And so we were just thinking about casting that. And
we were going to put it on Indiegogo at the time. And Indiegogo is
what's Indiegogo, Katie?
Start the old timey music. Yeah. Indiegogo was a crowdsource.
Same time as Kickstarter. It was a little more edgier.
Yeah.
Totally.
Seed
Alternative.
and Spark.
Yeah. The Seed and Spark of its time.
Totally.
So we were just, and we had seen Sam in some short stuff.
Yes,
and
hard
like,
gravel stuff.
Yeah.
It was like this thing he made where he plays like this country. They were like just like really
I remember
renegade
that.
videos that were like making fun of country music.
Do you guys know where
television.
Sam's at? Have you talked?
I think he's in Virginia.
In Virginia?
Yeah, I think
I fucking miss that guy so much.
I know.
Like I would call him in all the time, and I would just to call him in, just to hang out with Sam and watch him.
Yeah.
He's so great.
I know,
and the stuff that he wrote and directed too
was good.
It's
yeah,
bonkers. You know.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't know if you ever saw his live performances. He did
one as that character, that country music.
Okay.
Oh, that was amazing.
I blew us away.
It's like full commitment to the character.
Sam, come home.
Sam,
Well, I was talking about his live stage show versions of popular movies. He did Die Hard on stage, Home Alone on stage,
Predator.
Jaws on
Or they were gonna
stage.
do Predator.
That sounds amazing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember I was so happy for him when this was happening for him. I was just like, dude, this is so great. This is so great.
So we asked him, would you do this? And like, you don't have a lot of money, but here's a little bit of money. You know, we want to pay you for your time. And a couple other
He hardballed you guys?
He's like, $4 is okay with me.
And a few other actors that I knew from theater. And we did this thing in like this teaser trailer in like 3 days or something. And it worked. And we we didn't raise close to the whole budget on Indiegogo, but it was a great start.
Mm-hmm.
So how was the teaser trailer was like
I just shot it.
No, it was like a trailer. It looked like and people were like, when does this movie come out?
Right.
And we're like, we haven't made it yet.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah.
So you just shot some like snippets and then put them all together with some music.
Yeah. We took scenes from the movie, little clips here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But you
people
only
the
had
sense of it.
But you only had Sam at that point, or you had any of the other people?
We had Sam. We had a few other people. Not everybody who is the same actor as in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We were not, we're not thinking of that far ahead. We're just like, how do we get this thing?
Yeah.
made?
And I think we got $25,000 on
From
Indiegogo from that.
Yeah.
That's
and then
great.
we even got, this was so strange. I mean, and we were getting a little bit of like Hollywood action. Like we got like contacted by Howie Mandel's company, which was the strangest meeting I've ever had.
Yeah.
And didn't do anything.
Because of the germ thing? Or
No.
Well, I had heard of that beforehand, and it made me super nervous.
Oh, yeah. So this is all you can think about right, before your meeting. You're like, don't touch him. And then we met him, and he was nice, but he was just like, how can you ensure this movie will be made?
How do I know you're going to make this movie?
And we're like,
how does
anyone that is a good question.
That?
It's like, I guess we can't.
Wow.
You're right.
We'll be leaving now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't shake his hand.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but so we got a little bit of that.
You should pull out a napkin at that point and just start drawing little figures and being like, just waste so much time just drawing and painting for him. Like, this is because we're going to make it.
Yeah, look at this. I was
or we're going to get Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But that was where I thought like, maybe I'm not cut out for this business because that's a real simple question and I have no answer for it.
Right.
How do I know if I give you the money, how do I know you're going to finish the movie? It was like,
well, how do I?
You never do, right?
How do we know you're not going to die before we finish making it? I mean, anything could happen.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's why we have insurance and bonding companies.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
You have to be bondable.
I guess so.
I
Yeah.
should have said that.
Or you just got to be crazy enough to go for a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had 25,000 at that
We
point.
had that.
So you could make
and
something.
he was
And
not
also, this
interested
was
in helping because he was like, these two don't have an answer for me, which is fair enough. And then, so we just kind of, we had that amount and we like raised a little bit more and but it was pretty low budget. We couldn't afford little pieces.
Yeah. Mostly people who had seen, because it was the early days of crowdfunding. It was still like a story.
Yeah.
And there was a video to go along with the story. So like Wired wrote an article and I think like Forbes wrote an article or something like that. And people would call us or email us from wherever going like, oh, I love D&D. I saw this trailer. I love it. I want to put money into this. I'm like, okay.
So we scraped it together, but still not very much money. And we did not have a casting director, even though we would have loved to.
Tell us about the casting process because you guys nailed it.
Cast at the Doherty Arts Center.
Okay.
Us just making, I think we just did an
because the
open
space is free
call for certain.
Yeah, how'd you advertise that to the community?
What were the website? I mean, Craigslist. Yeah. The Texas
Film Commission.
Film Commission.
Yeah. Did you guys use Dan's list or any of that kind of stuff?
We might have done.
Yeah.
We might have done. Yeah.
Whatever's possible.
I don't really remember. Thomas
just
Fernandez, our producer, also helped us cast it. It was really just us three and just, days of just all day just doing it and just going.
Did you?
I mean, it had to be fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's so exciting because every time somebody comes in, you're like, oh, this is like a whole new direction the movie could go,
Yeah.
And we were like, even people we didn't cast were like, oh, I remember that name. Like, keep that, keep
like,
that headshot. That person.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. Casting is that's why I think like all this kind of now it's turned into like auditions via, recordings. Then it's like, it's very inspiring seeing people in the room.
Right.
For not just that project, for other projects. And
it's just coming to life and then people playing with the words and the different it's
Did you have scenes that you gave them when they came in, or they bring a monologue or
Yeah, we gave them scenes. No, they had to do a Shakespeare.
They did. They brought their best.
And at that point you were able to email people the scenes, the sides, or did they come in and they already have it prepared?
We sent them.
I doubt
I think we sent them.
Okay.
Really?
Well, maybe not. Maybe we just gave it to them and like ahead of time. They had like 15, 20 minutes to look it over. Yeah, I think
that's hard as well.
Yeah.
It sounds more like.
And we did the callbacks where we had, people like Katie Folger were like, okay, she's the best. We want her to do this.
Yeah,
so we'll have her come to the callback.
That's great. College.
Graham, I mean, everybody you picked is just like such solid.
Garrett Graham.
Yeah.
Was actually working at the Apple store with Andrew's brother.
I remember.
And Andrew was like...
No, Teddy said, my brother, he said, oh, this movie you're casting, like this guy I work with, he's such a fucking hipster. No. And he plays this asshole at work all the time. He's joking, but he's like really good at it.
Yeah, he loves to do it. And we're like, yeah, bring him in. Let's bring him in.
I know that very well when he would come in for commercials. I'm like, you do not want to be here. Dude.
Yeah.
Like you're laughing at me, not with me.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because we decided based on the teaser trailer, okay, Sam is like, he's like made us just laugh so much. And he was so committed. And it was brought, a personality to the character that we hadn't quite visualized yet. That we said, let's offer it to him. Let's see if he wants to do it,
And I'll say also Sam, the character on the page is a total asshole. So it was kind of important to go, okay, that's scary because, that's off-putting. In the movie, it might not work if someone's, such an asshole. That Sam has obviously a sweet quality.
Yeah.
And that you can tell there is a sweet person there. So it's like we knew that it would be better to have someone kind of playing asshole than being kind of an asshole.
He couldn't be too good at it.
But he played it in a way that it was his love for the fantasy and the game.
Yeah.
And he became so sweet and soft in the imaginary world and so vulnerable.
Oh,
that you
vulnerable.
You just fell in love with them, right? And that you almost were frustrated as well, too, when you were taken out of that fantasy world. And so you understood why he was upset, you know? And he played it so perfectly.
Yeah.
But interestingly, I think I can say this, everyone told us not to cast him.
Oh, really?
All the advice was like, don't. He's never done this before. He's never had a
Everyone
leading role.
Name names.
Other filmmakers, mostly
friends, other
filmmakers, and producers. It was just a lot of fear.
I'm walking out.
But what was that about? Was it that he's unknown, or had they worked with him before?
I think. No. They love it. They're like, he's a great guy, but he's never carried a movie before.
Mm-hmm.
You should, and there was a lot of like, you should.
I cut back to Howie Mandel. How are you guys going to finish this movie?
Yeah.
Like, who are these people telling you? Like, is it Spielberg? Who was it?
No. I think, it's basically, I think with movie making, there becomes a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, because there's money.
That's a good point.
So then just fear kind of starts driving the decisions instead of like.
That's such a good point.
Creativity and the like good choice.
Yeah.
Driving me crazy is that now everything we do is, well, how much are they worth? How much are they worth?
Right.
It's like, what about the movie we're making?
Yeah.
Like who?
It's all risk taking.
Yeah.
It's always a gamble.
So
why not really
make the
gamble?
best movie?
Yeah.
Like, and have a real shot because you've made a piece of art that people are going to relate to and be moved by. Not because he's worth $300,000 in Japan.
Or is that 2 million Instagram
because it doesn't
followers?
translate.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate.
Yeah.
The gamble.
I get it. I mean, I get it because I know I talk to the investors. I get it,
but I don't know if it always translates.
No,
I don't
think it doesn't. I know it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a part of some of the worst opening movies. People have tons of money.
Name names,
with
John.
stars.
Yeah, with stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you guys see that article in, I think it was in Filmmaker magazine, and it was some filmmakers had done a very informal survey of all of their indie filmmaker friends and network about kind of comparing budgets, how much, whether they made their money back, and what the level of stars were in it. And this is like not super scientific, but it kind of like, it rang true to me. They were like, unless you're getting one of like the top 100 famous people in the world, it does not move your numbers at all. You know?
Oh yeah, I think I did see that.
Remember that?
It was like better to be really ultra low budget indie and go for
with
it.
unknowns than it
then
was
try to get like whoever's on this season of whatever and
Right.
is kind of familiar in a name.
If you're writing something for $5 million and above, I get it. Like that's a lot of money. But if you're below that, I think you can play, right? And I think what we've found talking to filmmakers is that the most films the films that we enjoy the most are coming out of this space. That are original and have a voice and are impactful are these where that freedom is there to play.
Yeah, I mean, I
and
get
make
it,
choices, right?
And I totally get it if it's millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But if someone's investing like $100,000 in a movie and they're like, you need to have Brad Pitt in this, you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen, and two, it's
But Brad Pitt would
or not
make
Brad Pitt,
sense.
or yeah,
you gotta
or
pick someone else like
whoever was the star or the third build on this season of whatever,
Yeah.
it has to be that person. You're like, that's not going to move. It's not going to turn this from a small movie into a big movie.
I kind of
unless they're great. If they're a great actor and they're great for the part, sure.
Yeah, I think it's that rate. It's like, let's make something that
But even still, it's like I don't know why they're always holding on to that. It's a little bit of a crutch where they feel like everything's going to be okay if they lean into that.
Mm-hmm.
every person that's lost money in a movie is going, fuck you guys.
Yeah, well, listen. Let me tell you.
Well, I mean, I wonder sometimes, I'm like, do you really think that this little movie is going to like make more money because of these actors that you have in it? Is that really gonna get somebody who's just surfing Netflix to go, oh my God, that guy played the something on that show. I'm gonna watch this movie now.
It does. It does. And even if your title starts with an A, like you'll see, like my one friend was like, I'm gonna put a hashtag so that I'm before everybody. Yeah. So all that
we had
stuff.
a lot of trouble with Zero Charisma.
Yeah,
They pushed
Oh
us.
yeah, they pushed on the title for
You
sure.
should have done hashtag Zero Charisma.
We should have.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Little trick for people.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Now every movie's
Nauseating.
hashtag.
The algorithm,
Yeah.
and the numbers,
Yeah.
and all of it.
Yeah.
It's
It
like-
does make a difference. And then foreign sales were just such a huge thing for
Right.
financing forever. It's
Mhm.
like, what is their value? How can we hedge our bet here?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
There's
I mean,
formulas that they have,
it's entertainment business. We
Yeah.
all get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it's like, could we not have it be so?
Mm-hmm.
Could we find a balance?
It's basically leaned too hard into the business.
It's leaned
side.
too much.
It's basically just gone too hard that direction.
Yeah.
And
Well, especially when the big movies
it doesn't
are
seem to be
like-
helping.
no.
But I take a couple like you guys, right? And I feel like you guys probably have an audience that loves your voice, right? And then now can you not find your people in your community, right? And then monetize yourself. Like I believe that's the new opportunity for us, is that now that we can make things for less and we can connect directly with our fans and we can have that conversation directly because of the platforms that are available.
Yeah, I don't
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's just a glut of content
There is.
that makes that so hard.
Right.
To
Just
be
hard to be heard.
It's hard to be heard unless you're Trump. It's like other than that, it's really hard to be heard.
Or unless you get really loud and appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I mean, it's like I feel like we've always been able to find a way, and I feel like that's become almost impossible.
I feel like that too.
Well, even like the film festival world has, the opportunities have shrunk there.
It's lost some of its impact.
When we premiered at, Zero Charisma at South by, it was amazing. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. We had like sold out shows and, just lots of reviews.
It was a movie we shot in the backyard, like at the house behind the house we were renting. And our house became the production office.
Yeah.
which was like seemed like a brilliant idea, and then it was like, oh my god, this is a horrible idea. We could never get away from this movie when we're shooting it. But it's like, so then to be at South by, and it was like being in the theater with it was just it was wild. It was like,
but we had like a lot of reviews came out like right in that first week. A lot of tweets, a lot of press. Had calls from agents and management companies and whatever. We went to South by this last time, and we saw a movie that we liked, and we wanted to go up and talk to the filmmaker afterwards. Again, not going to name names, but he was like, "What the fuck do I do?" He's like, "There's no press. No one wrote about my movie. No one's seeing it. There's no one here buying movies. I can't get like anything to happen." And it was like such a difference from. I mean, it was 10 years ago, but I was like, he was asking us like, what am I doing wrong? What do I do? I was like, I don't know. They just
festivals became just a marketing tool.
Yeah,
like it's like just get as many of these things on your box as possible is what it feels like.
Yeah,
that is what it feels like.
And it was this guy was panicked.
Yeah,
and it was like,
he's like, I took out credit cards to finish this film.
We just went up there to say we loved your movie, and he turned into that like within 4 minutes.
Existential crisis, like.
And you guys just kept looking at him, going,
"Shoulder,
yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're totally fucked. You're totally fucked.
Get a time machine.
Well, we liked your movie. Bye.
Send us the YouTube link when it's up.
So, is that how you got Chris Hardwick's?
That was actually
Nerdist.
No, all the reps didn't do shit. No. It was actually, we had the film at Maryland Film Festival after South by, and there Bobcat Goldthwait had a movie there as well, and he went and saw our movie, just not asked to or anything like that. He just wandered in, and he loved it, and he was like, "What can I do? How can I help you guys?" And
I'm seeing a theme because Howie and Bob are kind of in the same Venn diagram.
But then we knew who was cooler.
Yeah.
And he's like such a nice guy, and
he's a great filmmaker too.
Yeah. And we were like,
so good. Like, his stuff is good.
Yeah. And then so he said, "Let me pass this along to my friend Jonah Ray, who worked at the Nerdist." Jonah Ray, who is now that host of Mystery Science Theater, and he and Jonah Ray was like, we're looking to get into film, and this might be a good first one to go with, and we had already been talking to Tribeca. Is it okay to talk about?
Yes,
inside?
I don't care.
We had already been talking to Tribeca at that point, but it fell apart because they wanted us to change the name, and we said no.
Oh,
and they said, okay, well, no offer then, and we're like, okay, we'll go somewhere else. And
where did that confidence come from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Of steel.
I don't know if I have that.
We were just like,
because we've had to change almost every title we've ever done.
Yeah. But once we got the Nerdist on board, they were used like, their leverage to go, okay, you guys don't want to change the name, we'll make Tribeca not change the name.
Okay.
And that worked.
Wait, what is the reason? Just because they didn't like it, or because it starts with Z?
I think it was Z.
Z. Well, they wanted it to be obvious. This is the whole, the game master, I think they wanted. And we're like, ooh, it's like how they're naming movies now, like mystery movie.
Money heist.
Like, so you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I think that was the thinking. Anyway, so we stuck with the Zero Charisma. We're adamant about it. And then, But then the Nerdist got picked up by Legendary.
Yeah, they were bought by Legendary.
Oh.
And they pretty much canceled their movie
division.
Yeah. Within
this is a good point.
That means
how much you guys don't have any control.
Oh yeah, no. It was yay, they're gonna announce it at Comic-Con, that this is their first movie on the slate. And it was like, and we're like, God, it seems like it's not as important as it was. Suddenly, and then it's like, oh, they got bought by Legendary, and Legendary controls the movies they make now.
Well, they're probably like
that was the end of you guys.
Yeah. I mean, kind of.
It was kind of a brutal time. We went from a very high of the festival circuit was awesome, and then just crashed down. Where it was like we wanted to get the movie on Netflix. We were just like, we want it to be on Netflix. I feel like if it's there, people will find it. That's where nerds are. That's where indie film, film lovers are.
There were a lot of indie films on Netflix back then.
And Tribeca had their entire catalog was on Netflix at the time. So we're like, that's a great relationship. something happened right then, and all of Tribeca's films were removed from Netflix, and they never got another movie on Netflix after that. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
I think they
partnered with Amazon.
With Amazon. Right then, Amazon Prime was launched at that moment. So we were put on Amazon Prime instead, and I don't know. We were just kind of like, what?
We're such cogs in the fucking
Oh,
wheel.
yeah. Yeah, I know.
And I just hurt. It's breaking my heart. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, because we work so hard in the creative space
and
of it all.
and you raise the money and you
put
do
so much love into
and then
it.
And then they're like,
they're like, it worked.
They're like, oh, there's
right?
there's
You're audience awarded South by, and there's press, and look at that, and we're launching careers.
And then it's just like,
then someone goes, there's a booger here.
Yeah.
Like,
that's kind of what happened with Austin Stories, which was MTV's first scripted show, and we came out. And we were so critically lauded. Like, the critics loved us. They were like, this is a gem. This is hilarious. You have to see this. And then somebody else bought whatever, or the head of MTV changed hands to this other person. And they were like, new slate. Getting rid of all this shit so I can make my stuff. And we were replaced with sock puppets. It was like Syphil and Ollie or whatever they were called.
Right.
The sock puppets?
Yeah.
Is that what they were called? Syphil and Ollie?
Oh, that show was great.
I love adult puppets.
Oh,
I love any puppets that
kidding.
cuss. I love cussing puppets.
Thanks. Well, I was on unemployment that year. Glad you enjoyed your sock
I'm just
puppets.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know that I watched. I loved puppets, but I don't know if I watched that show.
Is that what it was called? Syphil and Ollie?
I think so. Something like that.
Something stupid. I'm glad you liked it. But yeah, it was just like this political change of hands that we were like, wait, what? We were already they were starting to write for season 2.
Yeah.
And then it was like, sorry, you're canceled. And it was like, but wait.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's like when people say it's a hard industry, that's the stuff that's really, really hard.
Yeah.
But I always feel like when someone suggests something's hard, that doesn't mean I can't fuck it up. Like, let me at it. I'll do hard all day. I can still be the victor. That's the kind of shit I can't. There's no control.
It's just
like, it's not really a fair fight.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. We didn't know what to do about it at that time to like try to get the numbers up, or what are we supposed to do now that it's not out of our hands? I guess nothing,
And so a home on Amazon Prime was not as good for you as a Netflix deal would have been.
I think Amazon, they're still behind Netflix, right? In just terms of like cultural awareness.
I don't know, because I'm so confused with everything that's out there. Like, it's just like
so much.
Yeah.
A lot of content.
And it's the streaming services. It's like, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Cable TV Plus, whatever the fuck plus. Oh, that show looks cool. What's it coming out on? Tripod Plus. What? I don't have that. Now I got to get another one.
Yeah. You got to ask a friend for another password.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so you guys then what? Then where did we go? Because I don't know where it ended up.
We were it was a little traumatizing, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
glad to bring it up.
Yeah, no, it's
but that to say, like, making it was so much fun. It was so, great. And we didn't know what we were doing, really.
We were just really, truly actually like living in the moment of it all. And I don't think we even thought in the future. Like, we didn't like have another script ready to go. We were just not.
Yeah.
We weren't super business savvy. The agents that we met with were just like, what else you got? And you're like, we'd say something that was,
oh, we've got things.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of in the same, something kind of like niche and
but
kind
the
of
space that
they're
you guys
just like,
were
no.
in is what created something so beautiful and great, because you weren't thinking about that shit. You were thinking about what you were making.
Yeah.
They had, we had like a list of other ideas we want to do, and they're just like, that's too niche, that's too niche, that's too niche. This is like, one of the big agencies, and they're like, I remember this meeting was so
bizarre.
It was so surreal.
Ooh, tell it.
Well, first of all, these agents like
set
at South by, they
this is at William Morris.
Is that okay? Yes.
And we were in the lobby,
floor to ceiling glass.
And we're obviously nervous. We've not been in a situation quite like this. And then, in the lobby,
you kept saying, "Who is that guy over there?"
I'm like, that guy's familiar.
Super nervous guy. There's this guy sitting
back
there.
and forth. This guy,
he's like going over his pitch deck over and over again. He's just like sweating. And he seems so nervous. Like, man, that guy he's under the gun.
And I'm like, who? And it was
you recognized him,
the guy who directed Meet the Fockers and
yes, it was
Austin Powers. The guy directed what's his name?
Ted.
Look, we all
I
were so
cannot
good.
believe
I know.
this.
Should I Google
Yeah,
it?
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're so
We forgot
good.
the punchline.
I know.
Carry on. I'll Google.
No, this is a great office moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he did like Foxcatcher
So-
too. I mean, he's
so
like,
you're
What's
like
his name?
So you're like that guy.
This is probably when he's worried the agents were thinking about him. They're
Yeah.
like, who's this
What's
guy?
his name?
What's his name?
But you're like that guy's nervous.
Yeah. His wife is one of the Go-Go's. I mean, this guy's like, you know,
Why is he sweating? Jay Roach.
Jay
Roach.
Roach.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun,
He was pacing in the lobby. and I'm
Sorry,
like-
Jay.
I'm like, yeah,
Sorry, Jay.
Sorry, Jay.
I'll apologize
No, but
to Jay Roach.
I mean, I was like, this
Director
guy's
of
made so many comedies.
Dustin Hoffman,
that
Robert
made-
De Niro.
You know, how much money has this guy made?
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Austin Powers. You know,
what was
Meet
that?
the
What-
Fockers.
What are those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a little.
And this guy's like pacing in the lobby, and I'm like, oh my God, Andrew, what?
Yeah.
What is
We're
this? What is this nightmare world?
We don't
Anyway,
even know
Yeah.
what we're about to walk
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
yeah,
we
it
go
was-
and it's these two guys who we met at South by, these two agents.
who were very nice. It's in
Very
Austin.
nice at South by. Took us to lunch.
Mhm.
Very friendly. Well, it was different when we came to the room in LA.
I just remember the one guy like had us sit down on a couch like this, and there was a coffee table there, and he just puts his foot up on the coffee table and starts eating an apple on his knee. It's like, what do you got? And I was like, this is like a this is like a bit, you know?
No. What do we?
I literally have said to those guys, I go, you're worse than the people that play you in movies. I go, the caricatures of
Really
you,
did that?
you're worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a Granny Smith or a Honeycrisp?
I think it was
I was too nervous.
A red
it was red.
delicious.
It was red.
No.
I hope it wasn't red delicious because
So
disgusting.
That would've been
Disgusting.
Great
Yeah.
if you were like, is that a red delicious?
You should have been like, "Is that organic?" You know, you shouldn't eat apples that aren't organic.
Yeah. And then
So he's the guy that you're having to pitch to, or
Yeah.
yeah, and so we like kind of went through some ideas, and he was like, "That's too niche. That's too niche. That's too niche." And he said, "Let me explain something to you. We have to sell movies to overseas, to China as a big market. And what they understand in China is weddings and babies.
So what do you got?
Do you have anything on that?"
I'm like,
And we're like, wedding babies?
You're like, hey, Jay Roach is up. He's right. I think he's got a wedding baby.
yeah.
And we're like, oh, God.
And we're like, and then you just go, you walk away and you're like, well, that didn't go well. And then you go, why did they even invite us in there?
That's
if
the
that's what they
thing.
wanted.
That's
you know
the
what I mean?
thing.
Like,
it's like
Or give us
read
a heads
the
up.
room.
Yeah.
Right? Give us a heads up.
Like-
We're looking for babies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
are we looking for wedding
Yeah.
babies? We watched this.
Wedding crashers meets babies. Wedding
Yeah,
babies.
but
yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You should
If
have
they
pitched
told me
that.
like a month before, I could have started working on a treatment.
He'd have a whole deck.
They also said
Yeah.
destination wedding.
Yeah, destination wedding.
weddings. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I
obviously it's
did
very
actually.
exciting.
They are.
This
they,
summer,
listen,
babies are.
he's not wrong because I mean I did voice an anime that was called Wedding Peach.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I was Angel Daisy. And our superpower, as the 3 or 4 of us, I can't remember how many, I think there was 3 of us, was something would happen and then we would spin around and then we were fully bedazzled in wedding dresses. And then we all had our own wedding power. And
And then-
mine was like throwing daisies. or
And you're
something.
all like perpetually getting married, or
I'm not really sure, but when they weren't dressed as brides, they were schoolgirls and they were obsessed with relationships.
okay, that's a lot to unpack.
I was.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, when do they turn into babies?
There's no babies.
Okay. Okay.
So it wasn't very successful.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was a huge show, and we were doing the English
Okay,
narration
yeah.
of it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Sony bought them, and
And then we,
Oh, is this Rooster Teeth? Is that what you're?
no,
Oh, okay.
no, could be.
okay.
So wedding
you're
babies.
pitching.
No,
Yeah. Well,
it's
you know,
not
I
working.
think doing a comedy too puts you in a different box. I feel like you
Which is
know
now
a more like commercial.
R.I.P. comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know if
'Cause,
they
like,
even really. They
we
don't
did-
really.
We did have kind of representation for a while, and they would just send us script after script of like nerd comedies,
Yep.
nerd stuff. And like, yes, we made this movie about nerds, but that's not what we're
That's
looking
another
at
huge problem.
career.
You're only allowed to do
Yeah.
the thing that you have found
Yeah.
success in.
Yeah.
And we're like, shit, we just put ourselves in the worst box possible.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that culture became so popular. So it's like,
It did. But then we also met, and they would send us to meet with like nerd companies, because there were a few, like the Nerdist. There were other ones like that trying to make content. That wasn't a good fit either, because they were all very determined to be very positive about nerd culture and be like, isn't it great to, and also really heavily like, isn't it great to consume content? You know what I mean? Whether it's Marvel or whether it's DC or whatever, My Little Pony. It was just like very, very pro content, pro consumer, pro nerd culture. And they didn't want to have anything to do with like a darker edge to that. So we kind of felt a little like
directionless, adrift.
Yeah. And were you there? So when you go to William Morris at this stage, are you going to be represented as writers, as directors, as the film?
Well, so that's interesting too. This is the management company that they were just sending us scripts to direct. Like that was what they were interested in. And we're like, we really want to write stuff.
Right.
And after like pitching a few things, they kind of like made it clear. They're like, look, we represent writers, but this is not how it works. If you want to be a writer with us, we give you a project and you write it. You know, but you don't. Your ideas are.
How bad were the scripts that you guys were reading? Are good?
Bad.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just like, no, I mean.
There was one that they actually like, this movie is going to be huge. Like, this is huge. I don't know if we can get you to direct this, but if so, you know, this would be so great for you.
It's a very thought after script.
We'll put your name, you know, there's a lot of directors vying for this, so good luck. And we read the script and we're like, I hate this. And then that movie, we saw it. We didn't actually see it, but it came out at South by a couple of years later and just got trashed in the reviews, like just totally thrashed.
I mean, these people have to have amnesia, right? That they don't, they know they said it.
Yeah.
Then they see it.
Yeah.
They have to remember that they said it.
Yeah. Because it's like.
That this is, and there has to be a learning point at some, right?
Yeah, don't they sit in the bathroom and go, I'm terrible at this.
Yeah. I'm really, really bad at this.
Maybe I should listen to the artist.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah. No, they don't.
No, they then go back and go, they blame the artist.
Someone else.
They weren't able to deliver on this excellent script.
But I know what you're saying about like when you went there, you know, and you were like, this is what we do. And they were like oblivious. I got my first big manager in LA and I was like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And I came in with my list of directors I wanted to work with. And my list was like, Paul Thomas Anderson, Wong Kar-wai, you know, and they were like, that's cute. Okay, no, you're going to go on a general at Warner Brothers and you're going to do a bunch of procedural guest
How do you
stars.
feel about playing Women of the Night?
Yeah, so that doesn't always...
no. Yeah. I also think there was a shift to like, I think there was a time a little bit before that there was interest in auteurs, you know, like kind of like,
because
you write and direct your stuff. And there are still people who do that, but it's like
3 of them.
There's 3. Yeah, or whatever. I mean, you know, but and they're veterans essentially.
Yeah.
But it's like that's not. And I think they kind of destroyed that, you know. I think they just kind of wanted, because they want to control it, you know. They want to control it, and that having like an auteur, that's like no control, and then you have this demanding director that wants
awesome
their thing.
Quentin stories that you hear about how much control he has, it's like, it's awesome.
I feel like that's kind of where we were starting, was riding that wave. Of
totally.
Like Pulp
You're like,
Fiction. And look, somebody can be really passionate about something and make Robert Rodriguez,
Paul Thomas Anderson,
make something for cheap, you know, with Wes Anderson. And here we go.
Bottle Rocket.
And then you've got these directors and they're taking their actors with them and then they're just growing in the thing.
I mean, even like the Duplass brothers, it's just like a smaller scale, but it was still very inspiring to like watch these.
Totally inspiring.
These little movies and go like, but they're getting seen and people are, you know.
But John just did send me a clip where, was it Mark Duplass?
Yeah, he was at South by.
Yeah. And he was letting us all know, as you were saying earlier, you still get to this point and the cavalry's not coming.
Yeah.
It's like you still have to.
And he goes,
generate
you realize
your own.
you are the cavalry.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
So
we'll
get some sleep.
Yeah.
We'll help
we
you.
ride out in the morning.
We'll help with the Indigo to Go campaign.
Yeah, I know. That's the question is like, do we have to do that again?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I think we do. We roll up posters.
I know there was that dream that
merch.
like, oh, well, our next script, there'll just be a production company. We'll swoop in and pay
But here's
for
the
it.
thing. People we're talking to that did what you did and they go to the next one.
Yes.
And it's a whole world that they're not. It doesn't seem like they're really happy with. Their lives aren't any. It's not like they have a better life.
Yeah.
You know, they're making bigger stuff, but it's not. You can tell the joy seems to be gone.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because there's just too many cooks and
there's a lot of cooks.
You know, and it's like you're compromising constantly.
And you can't argue with the money. It's like it's their money. You have you know.
Yeah.
Like you
if
can't,
you want it made, you have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More money, more
well,
problems.
that was inspiring.
I'm so excited.
Heather knew what she was going to get when she asked us to do
I
this.
did. I said, bring it.
The shortest one we've done yet. I'm going to go cry.
So I have a chat GPT question that is, what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers about the importance of the casting process and bringing a script to life?
Run.
I don't know. I mean, I did you ask ChatGPT, give me some questions to give to filmmakers?
No, I asked ChatGPT to ask you guys some questions,
Oh,
Katie
okay.
and Andrew,
wow.
who made a movie called Zero Charisma, and you would be blown away at the specificity of these questions.
Did they?
Oh, wow.
Does it know what Zero Charisma is?
All I had to say was, I'm interviewing Katie Graham and Andrew Matthews, directors of Zero Charisma, and it spat out 12 questions. I mean, I write my own.
At least someone knows who we are.
I
That's
write
good.
I write my
Eventually,
own,
what we want to do is
obviously,
have
but
your AIs here and our AIs here, and then they can chat.
Dude.
We can all.
I love seeing how it just, the specificity of what qualities were you looking for in the actors who would portray the main characters, especially the role of Scott, the game master.
Well, like Katie said, it was, the sweetness and vulnerability rather than cast somebody who's naturally good at being an asshole, like cast someone who has to work at it a little bit. So
When
that it
you
comes
wrote
out.
that, did you guys think that, or was it Sam?
I think we kind of discovered it with Sam.
Yeah.
So what was the
It was
idea?
like it's actually kind of sometimes for me, it starts with a fear a little bit of like, okay, this is where it could go wrong if it's like someone who's too aggressive, or it could. So I kind of start with that and then try to go like, what's the positive of that? Like, what can you discover from the flip of that?
And then when Sam comes in, is it? And I'm, being in casting, I know this moment. Is it like that's it, and you just know it's it?
Yeah, I mean, we with
Did
him
you
since
guys-
he didn't.
We
really
didn't
walk in.
audition.
Do you agree?
We didn't audition him.
Oh yeah,
He just
Andrew and I.
we just asked.
Do you
him
guys always agree?
We do.
That's handy.
We pretty much always agree.
like if we don't, then
Then what
keep
like there's
searching.
very famous actors that everyone loves that we're like, ooh, both of us. Like it's just like I'm not going to, but
That's awesome. That's a great quality.
but we do. We really. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Yeah.
if you did disagree,
Then you keep searching.
Yeah.
Like if there's somebody
Oh,
we
that's
don't.
lovely.
That's sort of the
That's
Yeah.
lovely.
the method.
With like writing too. It's like, oh, I like the scene, but she doesn't. Okay, well, got to think of another scene then. Keep working.
The North Star,
Oh,
the
that's
North Star for you guys.
cool.
That's
I
great.
feel like less with casting though. I think like feel
Less
like we-
disagreement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Writing is more like, okay, it could be this, but then there's more, but in casting, it feels more certain to me. You're like, oh yeah,
It's such a, when I know how it's done, like this is the way it's done. You just have to like ask actors to do it, and they say yes or no, and then you work with the actors that you have. But it's so sad to me that you can't, have different actors read with different. I mean, I'm sure you can at a certain level, but when you're trying to cast a small movie, you just have to go out and offer it, and hope that they work well together, hope that it works
yeah.
together, and
I've worked in offices of people that do huge movies, and I've heard them yelling at the agent going, I gave him this and I did this for them. They need to come in and read for me. And so you can't fight for it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they just want the offer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's gotten less and less where I think they just like, no, he's offer only. And I think that's super scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
talked a lot about that on this. It's like you're just the guy shows up and you're like, he's not right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, just because someone's a good actor doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
be wrong. I mean, like back to the famous Back to the Future story where they shot it with Eric Stoltz,
Mhm.
and then they're like,
Yeah.
and not like Eric Stoltz is a bad actor.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
Wasn't
It
right.
wasn't
Right
working.
thing. Yeah.
And good for the person that stood up for that, right?
I mean, can you
hey,
imagine?
Yeah.
Go back to the studio and say, we need another $30 million because we want to reshoot everything we've done so far.
Part of the plan is to go back to the beginning. You understand? We're going back to the future of the shoot. So it's Eric, but it's not Eric.
Meta.
Yeah,
It's
so meta.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT also came up with, in the world of tabletop gaming, authenticity and understanding of the culture are crucial. How did you ensure that the actors were familiar with tabletop gaming and the subculture before filming?
They weren't, I don't think. I mean, Sam was like, I've never played before. And I was like, really?
But he wanted to.
He
did too. I think.
He said he went and found some friends to play with or something to get a sense.
I thought you played with it. No. Okay, no.
Do they do that in that culture? Make up their own games like he did?
No, that was us just being scared of getting sued by Wizards of the Coast. I mean,
sometimes you get creative from being really
so
scared
of that we like half of the posters in his room were like mock-ups that we like made. Everything on screen we got the rights for or made ourselves. And it was like, we made a movie about someone who loves culture. And
you
like
can't show any.
Did
you guys have a production designer? Or?
We did, but we did a lot of the work.
Yeah, we
ourselves.
did it.
Like even like the soda bottles, I like designed the
Where did
labels.
all that skill set come from?
Andrew.
I mean, I'm work as I guess a designer, kind of animator and stuff. So I had to like teach a lot of these things to myself.
So like all the
a lot of photoshopping.
Yeah, you did a lot of that. I was
like
just
his game master screen. Like I had to make that.
You made that.
Well, there's a image on it, and the image Katie called so many of these artists, like even like big fantasy artists.
I was just reaching out to artists saying, "Can we use your artwork in our film?" And they were like, "Sure, yeah, great." And I'm like, "You don't have to do anything. We'll just print it up and just need you to sign this." And I mean, so many people,
well, like the Reaper miniatures that make images.
Yeah.
We just emailed them, can we use your figures in our movie? And they responded by sending us a huge box.
Oh, that's awesome.
Filled
so
with
cool.
books and, miniatures, and they hand painted a bunch for us to use.
Oh,
they're like, which
wow.
ones do you want us to hand paint? Which characters do you want?
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're in Dallas, I think. And so it was a very special thing.
That's awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and there was a location in town, actually right around the corner here, where we shot the Wizards Tower, which was just a game store. What was the game store?
Great Hall Games.
Great Hall Games.
It's still there.
No, now it's a bridal shop.
It is?
Yeah.
Weddings and
Is the
babies.
green
Weddings
sign?
and babies. Weddings and babies.
I thought the green. Did it just close recently? Isn't it down on?
No, it's been gone for a while. Are you thinking of King's Hobby?
Maybe.
That's a little
I go
further
to all
up.
these places with my kids, so yeah.
And we walked in there, we're like, can we shoot here for a couple days? Like, how much would that cost? And they're like, nothing.
And we're like,
You're gonna close
coming
down.
from LA, we're like, what the fuck is happening? This place is amazing.
heaven.
And then they're like, "Can we be an extra?" And you're like,
Yeah, totally.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, they were.
You shoot in LA and there's someone weird standing behind you, right? And you're just like, what does that person want, right? And you're just kind of doing the thing, and then you tilt the camera a little bit. Like, that's my house. You owe me $5,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, back then, you couldn't even bring like a Palm camcorder into like a CVS.
Yeah.
Oh,
They'd be like, get it
yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
Which seems crazy now that everyone has a camera in their hand. But
that we had to like design, and so the artist would send us just digital files, and then we would go to a poster shop and
Print it up.
yeah. So, because I remember I saw a tweet when we made that teaser, someone tweeted like, "Oh, good luck. They're going to have to get the rights to all this shit." And I was like, "Oh shit. Okay. I'm going to get the rights to so much stuff." I mean, obviously not
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Which is fine. I don't want that on the wall anyway.
But emailing
but
like metal bands.
Yeah, metal bands. And I was like, yeah. And people, you're reaching out to small people and like they're like,
Excited about it.
But it was very heartbreaking when Sam has to destroy
Tear it all
the bedroom.
down.
Oh, I know.
We're just like, oh
Yeah.
God. We had it took us a month to build that room, and
Yeah.
And you're like, Sam, you got one take, buddy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get this right.
It was.
Yeah.
And then it was just this room's destroyed, and we're like,
Moving on, next scene.
okay,
Yeah.
next scene. Yeah.
What about music? Did you guys have same luck with music?
Yeah, it was same kind of deal. It was like I was, we had that Therion song, which is like that
Which I really, really wanted.
symphonic metal
That opening. And
no!
so,
Yeah.
So we contacted that record company.
That we
And
really wanted.
They said like, it was like
It was like $400
for the whole album.
Yeah. No, and we're like, great.
In perpetuity.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I actually worked really hard building the soundtrack and like reached out to, I would like just indie music I was into or whatever. I was like into Future Islands before they really exploded and got that for very reasonable cost.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There was one band that we used a song of theirs and Katie had emailed them and said, sure, send us the contract or whatever. So we put it in the movie and it's working really good. And it's like they're throughout the whole edit and we're getting close to like, okay, we got into South by now, we have to sound mix this, and they have not sent that contract back. And so our producer Thomas happened to be in California at the time and saw that they were doing a show in San Francisco. So he waited at the backstage door because they were just not responding to emails and everything. And then they came out and he's like, hey, I need you to sign this contract right now.
And they thought he wanted an autograph.
We did that at Universal. We did a Kevin Lyman documentary, and we had to get all the Warped Tour from all the years. And someone just kept avoiding us, and we just waited for them to come out of the elevator. We said, hey, we have it right here for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We want to send you a check.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even, it was like, it was Favored Nations. And it was everybody that just supported Kevin because they loved the Warped Tour because he's done so much for everybody. And so maybe it was $100 or something. Mm-hmm. And we got all the music.
Wow.
And she was the last one, and we'll just go and wait for her to come out of the elevator.
Yeah.
So did you get everybody?
Remember when music was so big in movies? When soundtracks like made those movies? It was like 50% of it.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, I still think that lives like in PTA and some other, still in Quentin's
but
movies.
Again,
but it's
you got to be one of those three.
Yeah.
So
it's strange too because I feel like there's a lot of if you did it on a smaller scale, there's a lot of like indie bands that you could. They're getting less attention now.
Yeah. Sure.
There's less oxygen for them because Taylor Swift and Beyonce. So it's like,
I mean, you could even just search SoundCloud and probably find great stuff.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Bring back the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The power of the soundtrack.
Yeah, man.
Well, so did you guys get everybody cast during that one Doherty Arts session?
I think we had callbacks.
We had, there was one, Angie.
Oh,
Angie Bird, who plays Scott's grandma.
The grandmother who actually, she came from LA.
And she was a last cast?
Yeah, because we actually, I found it harder to cast older people because I feel like there was just at a certain point, if you're a certain age, you either go to LA or you stop going to
especially not.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, there's also the actor that went to LA and then comes back that's older that I really like because they're like, I do what I do. I'm who I am. Mm-hmm. This is it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they're not in LA where I can do anything. I can be anybody. You know?
Yeah.
And I love that guy as well, that actor as well.
So
she was a highlight for me.
Yeah. So she's like an old friend of my family because my family is from theater. So she was like a theater
Andrew's dad is a character actor.
Yeah. And I've done plays with her and everything. And so we sent her the script and would you like to do this? And she was like, sure.
Yeah.
She said she had a great time. So
maybe we should talk about that. How'd you get Andrew's dad in the film?
Oh, well, that's easy.
That was easy.
He's a pretty big star.
Yeah. I mean,
he did show up. He did his own bald cap. And we're like, he showed up and because he's from theater, he's
that's
like,
true.
Yeah.
We did learn that. We did learn that in theater school.
Yeah.
We did our bald caps.
Yeah. He had the bald cap and like the
I'm like,
fake
we have
mustache.
Someone doing that. Yeah.
Showed up totally in costume and makeup.
I know. He was like,
he's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. He's walking in.
Topeka bodega.
But that was intimidating, though. I don't want to direct my dad.
Yeah.
That was great, Dad. Let's try this.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Yeah.
But I did.
Go down?
No, it was good.
Did
I mean, he's a professional.
Yeah. So he knows how to handle it.
Yeah. That was fun. It was fun, too, like seeing him and Sam. That was just like
it was wild.
Worlds colliding and Sam's screaming at him.
Yeah, for sure. And Sam has little bits of you written in there.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or the Scott character, anyway.
I don't think I would scream at my dad, but.
But through Scott, you could.
Yeah. But there's one funny story about Angie's part. The reason why she was the last to be cast, we were trying to cast here, and we did find someone. What was her name? MJ? Do you know MJ?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe I shouldn't say. You can cut it out if you want to. But she was like, "Oh, you're great. you'll be great. Let's do this. And then like, I think a month before shooting or something, she emailed us and said, hey, I finally read the script and this movie conflicts with my values, so I'm backing out. We're like, oh.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it just because she says some bad words? I wasn't sure.
No.
Maybe it's dealing in the dark arts.
We
definitely dabbled in it.
We had people back out of Halloween and Exorcist, and it was like, why did you?
What did you think this
what
was?
did you think this was about? Like what part of this movie did you not understand?
that Exorcist.
So I Googled Exorcist. Turns out it's not about an exercise program.
Did you
you're
guys?
just baffled. You're just like,
Yeah.
how did we get this far?
I know. That's amazing.
Did you guys get to rehearse at all?
We
did. That was, it's also that was a benefit of like, we weren't
Being low
really
budgie.
Yeah, being low budgie, and we were like, and first time directors, so it was like we want to rehearse, and so we did. We would just in the actual house because we were renting it, and it was right behind our
Was
house.
it furnished too, or did you guys put all that? Okay.
We furnished. Yeah. We're like, oh, that actor's sitting on a chair we found on the street.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I felt bad about that. Yeah. Do you know where we found that chair?
Yeah, if you only knew.
You should
Continue
get up and walk around. Keep the blood flowing.
Yeah, so that was cool. We got to we would rehearse them. I think we
Doing
did that
like
for about
their
3 weeks.
tabletop gaming.
Mainly the table scenes, I think.
I mean, just like moving around and trying to like figure out how, especially because, we were so nervous.
Yeah.
We got a camera in here, I don't want to like be trying to block this like the day of and have the camera person figure out. So we would rehearse it with the actors and just kind of like work it out and what they want to do. And then I would go storyboard it, like kind of what we rehearsed so that we could kind of meticulously plan, especially these table scenes. Katie's father was an assistant director for many, many years. And he was like, you guys have a lot of table scenes.
Yeah. He's like, get those eye lines.
Those are
right.
really tough with the eye lines, because you have these two people talking and then these two people talking, and you're like, you want all the eyes. So it was like really meticulously, sat everybody and storyboarded it so that, and I think it kind of pulled it off where you never feel like someone's looking the wrong way.
I still get confused by that line and where the line goes. And all that.
I get confused by it on the day, but when it's screwed up, you're like, wait.
You're like, why is he looking into the kitchen right now?
What side of the room are they on?
Yeah.
I thought he was over there.
Yeah.
It's a skill set.
Yeah.
So rehearsal. I mean, that's another thing that, coming from theater that like.
But also the luck, we're making something. Why anything else you do, you would work on.
Yeah. Except
you know
film, you're expected to just like
show up and go.
Yeah.
It's like anything takes preparation.
I mean, even like I know a lot of you trust these actors are going to be so good that they're just going to, either bring it or they'll figure it out amongst themselves, like how this scene is shaped. But like for me, it's like, but as a director, like I want to be a part of how this scene is shaped.
Yeah.
Too. Like at what moment does he realize that she's cheating on you? Like where are those specific beats going to land? So they can work the camera into that too.
And were they all actors? Or was
yes, except for they were all actors.
Yeah.
Some of them were from theater. First time
some of them
on
had,
camera.
Like Vincent, I don't think.
Vincent has been, but he's been in stuff since then.
Yeah, he has.
So he was kind of like just starting out.
Yeah. I mean, most, like Katie, she was in acting school at UT, but,
she was
like,
just
but it was, it was just like, I mean.
Just threw a little low shade to UT acting.
Yeah, no. But, hadn't been in there was nothing to show. I mean, but it was just her walking in the room and being great.
Lovely.
Nailing it and going like, okay, great.
A review that I read called her out, Katie Folger playing blah, 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 who should be in every movie ever. I was like, wow, that's such a nice thing to say.
No, she was great and it was very...
She's lovely in it.
Yeah.
She really is a beautiful
You guys
sort
passed
of...
it. There wasn't one moment where I was like, this is
Cindy,
perfect.
too, was pretty perfect as
Cindy
Scott,
is pretty perfect as Scott's mother.
I was like, this really works. And she got it.
I was happy to see Larry.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Jack.
Larry Jack. He's great.
Yeah.
Where did we see him in? Did he just...
He's in everything.
I feel like we had
Larry Jack finds a
my
way.
God, yeah.
It should be like a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Larry Jack finds a way.
Larry Jackson, everything.
Yeah.
And then when we needed to cast like the hipster party, we actually did, like, we knew Ashley at the time. So we're like, you know, but then we went to see improv shows.
Yes.
Oh, that's smart.
And there was an improv group, which I don't think is around anymore, called Spirit Desire.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know.
Group is
Another dying art.
Yeah.
But they
It's,
were hilarious.
yeah.
They were like, they're so funny and like the right type. So
They were.
two of we asked like the whole group, and two of them said like, yeah, I'd like to do it. So
Yeah.
There's still a pretty good scene here for improv.
Yeah.
What is it? Cold House or
Cold Town.
Cold Town. Yeah, their new theater is awesome.
But I mean, that's so much fun too. Like, let's just go around to some shows.
Be like, can they
and see
do
who we
it? And we're
say.
like, yeah, let's. Did Michael audition?
They all
Michael Folk.
auditioned,
I mean,
think
that
they
was
all
also
auditioned.
tricky because we're just like, you know, it's kind of like a tricky. That was a little bit of a tricky part, and for someone who wasn't really like a trained actor to be like kind of like egging Scott on and like
Yeah, Michael Folk played the sort of like the lead hipster at the
Yeah.
end who
Yeah.
antagonizes.
He did great.
Yeah.
He did great.
And he was really like, I mean, the improv background, he was able to like kind of control the room a little bit.
Yeah.
Like get everybody else on board with what he was doing too. And we were so grateful for that. 'Cause
Yeah.
if not, I don't know how we would have, you know, gotten that.
That scene was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was played great, and it was in the subtlety of him not being too aggressive, and then it changed. It was great.
Thanks. Yeah. And Sam was he sometimes he was scary, and sometimes you wanted to hug him. I mean, yeah.
That's kind of the perfect quality for Scott Wiedemeyer.
Also, I wanted to, because we're time, I want to talk about the short, because that was incredible as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about Shucky Darn. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the story of Shucky Darn?
What? I mean, behind that movie?
No, I mean what it's about.
Oh, you tell it.
Pitch it.
It's about a a rural Texas pie eating champ who has half an hour to prepare for the end of the world. He actually has a bunker ready to go, and a loved one that he wants to take with him, but there's a problem that has to be fixed before he can seal himself up in his bunker, and he's running out of time.
The love
So
one
let's
being,
go
the
right.
loved one
Let's go.
being the one in the bunker.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
let's go right to the casting of the loved one.
Okay. Yeah. That
So
We
they're
were
saying-
talking about this recently.
Yeah.
There's a sex doll in this movie. And I was looking online. I was like, are we going to have to buy a sex doll? Horrible
They're
things.
expensive.
They're very
Thousands
expensive.
and thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Mine,
God,
mine
and then I'm
didn't
gonna
cost that.
No, I,
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
I got a good
and then am I going to
price on
buy
mine, too.
used
You might
one?
wanna be careful.
What are we doing here? Right? I know. So, fortunately, found a company in Austin called, I think, just
RealSexDolls.com.
And it was
Good
this women-
branding.
Yeah, great branding.
and it was this female-based company, and they just had all these female sex dolls, and they
had male,
or
too.
in male too, yeah. And they were just like, yeah, use it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just do not
Use it.
damage it.
Use it,
Yeah,
but do not
and
use
and
it.
they say, if you penetrate this thing, we will know. And I'm like, you can count on me
Yeah.
not to.
We're good.
Yeah. So
The idea was so good, just getting it, how you guys got into it and how it evolved. I mean, where did the idea come from? It was just like,
I think that was actually
I didn't see
inspired.
any of the twists coming. I was like, what
that's
the? And yeah, I didn't see any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be weird if you did.
Yeah, I think so.
well, we had like written a script after Zero Charisma that was a drama that is a very good script. But it was hard to get going, and we were just like, oh God, we were just kind of like, I want to make something silly. I want to make something really silly, and it was just like, let's
like a Looney Tunes thing, and we
Yeah.
actually had access to the location, which was a beautiful location. We're
That's another theme that shows up here, is that we shot the movie because we had the location.
yeah. Totally, yeah.
And so it was like, well, what can we do?
What can we do at this location? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know where the sex doll.
Wait,
came
so
in.
what was the first idea? Was it End of the World? Or
I think it was End of the World.
End of the World. Okay.
End of the World.
30 minutes.
Yeah, and I think it was boy, that must have come from somewhere. I think the original draft was like, this guy he's got this bunker, and he's got like a massive like wall of pornography, and he's just like, just me and my wall of pornography.
Porn.
But oh God, I don't have any lube.
Was Trump president?
Yeah. I mean, that's why we thought End of the World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there was like,
and I think
Kim
you
Jong.
said sex doll. I think you came up with like, what if it's a sex doll instead of the pornography? And it was like, oh shit, can we get that?
Can we?
Because it made so much sense why he couldn't bring anyone down because
Yeah.
he can't let anyone know that. And it was
Yeah.
like, and I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
He's
brilliant.
also very
Thank you.
selfish. He
Oh
doesn't,
yes.
he
Oh, yes.
doesn't
Another
even
selfish character
bring
with an
his
angry
mother
mother
down.
in
With
a
the
bed.
horrible mother.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? This is not our lives, but
I know our mothers are extremely
Again,
sweet, wonderful
another
people.
fantastic mother.
Yeah.
that you cast.
she's great.
So good.
Annalie
Jeffries.
She's in
toes.
Queen Sugar. I met
Okay.
her on Queen Sugar, and she's
Okay.
fantastic in that
Those
too.
nails, those toenails.
Mark Reed.
Did you make those
who is the
toenails?
star of it. Oh,
Well, I'll tell you. Well, Mark Reeb, R.I.P., which very
recently
very
passed
missed,
away.
was the star of Shucky Darn.
Mhm.
And he was like, I want Annalie to be in this
He
with
was like,
me. I want
Annalie
work with
has to
her."
be in
Oh.
this.
How
So-
did he know Annalie?
I don't know,
I'm not sure.
but we're like, we looked at her demo reel and was like,
We're like, yeah, she'll be great. And she was really great.
Mhm.
And
But the first thing she said on set was, she said, "Did you cast me because of my toe?" And we're like,
we're like,
"No, why?"
because there's a scene where she's barefoot.
You're like,
Yeah,
what's
and
up
she
with
has,
your
like, horrible
toe?
And she has horrible toenails.
She's like, "Oh, you don't know I'm missing a toe?" And we're like, no. Because I thought in the script, you show my feet and it's supposed to be gross. So I figured that's why you cast me.
She's like, I figured that was just floating around Austin that I was missing a toe.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I know.
She
was like,
read it
no.
and she was like,
She's a
finally.
lawnmower accident.
Perfect for this.
Really?
Lawnmower. accident.
Lawnmower accident.
Was it her big toe?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
No,
it was.
I thought it was. Oh yeah, maybe.
It's like half her big toe. Yeah.
Oh
It-
goodness gracious!
And you guys didn't do a close up?
I know we should.
We did.
I know.
We did at one point. I think we cut it out. Why did we cut it out? I don't know.
It just
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also had amazing toenails made by Tara Cooper.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
They're
They
so
were great.
gross.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then, did you just his friend who shows up and wants to get in the bunker too, Justin Arnold?
Justin Arnold.
Shout out, brilliant
Fantastic actor.
Did you just know him? Maybe
We knew
through the
him.
scene
We
and-
knew he would be right, and then
Yeah.
he was so great on
So
set.
great.
I mean, he came with different ideas, like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just really surprised at how because he doesn't typically do comedies, I guess, or I don't know.
He doesn't typically do them, but I
but
think it's
he's-
fascinating. He's so
He
funny.
is
so
so
funny.
Yeah.
But because he was so committed to it.
That's what it is.
It made this
Yeah,
guy
that's what it
so
is.
sad.
yes.
He used to
I mean,
make these
and he was
little
doing, like,
shorts
physical
with Ryan
gags.
Harper Gray. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Where I think they play these two sort of dumb cops or dumb detectives. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, God, I've never seen that.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to find it and
I mean,
show it
that's
to you
the same
because he's
thing with
brilliant. in
with
it.
actors is with you guys. Like you said, you're getting pigeonholed into nerd comedies. It's like he probably got pigeonholed into the whatever he gets in. It's like
Yeah.
he could be amazing at
Although
this other
I
stuff.
wouldn't mind being pigeonholed into like handsome, strapping,
Yeah,
countryman.
for sure.
Yeah,
But
his pigeonhole is not bad, but yeah, but yeah. So yeah, and that's all. Oh yeah, and the sex doll. Yeah, she was.
so, and it,
That was horrible.
What we
she was
didn't
the
ex-
worst actor I've
Yeah.
ever worked with.
what we didn't expect.
I mean, outside the bird had.
yeah,
No,
Yeah,
well,
the bird was. I mean, I priced that out, and it was like $10,000
Yeah.
for like
to have a
for a
bird.
few seconds. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and he did it.
And I
It's
did it
great.
myself. Yeah.
No.
so you just CGI that.
I just gotta, because I thought it would have to be CGI'd, and like CGI companies quoted $10,000, and I was like, you know what? No, I bought a stock footage for $30 of a bird flying on a blue sky, stabilized it, knocked out the sky, and it's motion
Yeah.
blur swoops in for a second. You
Right.
can't tell on it.
No, you
I
can't.
had
Oh,
no idea.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
done.
I don't even know that I would have an idea now. Even you told me, like,
yeah.
Well, it's
No.
those little things that like help you so much to be a filmmaker when you're like, I don't have to, I can make this happen without having to go to somebody who's going to be like super expensive. Just, these
Yeah.
little,
That's what's coming though. These
Yeah.
tools for us that we
Yeah.
can go make all this stuff. For,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think there's just about to be this like resurgence of this independent world of where we can make really quality, great stuff.
I
with all
hope
these
so.
tools.
Totally. I hope so.
I mean,
I hope
I
so.
don't know.
I mean, the tools are certainly there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually also like, because I've done camera work too. I like worked as a DP on things. And it's also that too. Like actually weirdly, even though it looks great, 4K and everything having to be shot in 4K is limiting because then it's basically the space you need. It's not very cost.
I mean, you shot
effective.
hundreds of hours on those documentaries.
You can make documentaries that are verite shooting hundreds of hours. You cannot do that.
That's
With
why all
4K,
documentaries now are
so cost prohibitive.
They're all like reenactments and, very meticulously like, we want to get a shot of you, reading the newspaper or something like that. But you can't.
What's the cost with 4 storage? Is it the storage? I mean, 4K, the storage?
Yeah.
Storage.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, I mean,
there's probably a way.
For everyone to watch on their phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your sex doll character had a name. We want to honor that before we go out.
Shauna.
Shauna.
Yeah.
Shauna. Jeannie Shauna.
But what we didn't expect was that she
How
would
high
weigh
maintenance was she?
100 pounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were not allowed to let
Lay
her
it on anything.
sit or lay down anywhere
For
because
very long.
it would her skin would freeze in that pressure.
So we had to
She
have
had to
her
be
like
hung
hanging
chainsaw style.
from she had like a hook. You'd take off her head. She had a hook at the top of her neck, and we'd just hang her like a corpse, just like hanging. And we put, because we're on set, we're like, she needs some underwear. We need to put some underwear on this, on Shauna.
On Shauna.
For respect for her and everyone else.
Yes.
So we did that, but the underwear stained, it soaked into her body because she's like this weird
latexy shit.
latex. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, when we pulled the underwear off after we shot, I was like, oh my God, we've got to get this imprint off. And so Andrew and I were in my office at home, scrubbing it. And then I realized the blinds were open to the street. And I was like, what
God.
does this look like?
Oh God.
Oh,
Like
God.
a naked body.
Yeah,
hanging
naked
from-
corpse.
Yeah, and we're just sitting there scrubbing
Scrubbing
her crotch
her genital
with
area.
toothbrushes.
I feel like if we can get the location where they store all these, we got something to make.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you call it baby wedding?
Destination baby.
Yeah,
wedding.
yeah.
Destination baby wedding.
Yeah.
Then we've got something.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank
great.
you guys for coming and talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That was
Like,
so much
we
fun.
could talk about it all day.
Yeah.